All right, Mike Ritzema here with your Cybersecurity Education and Awareness Training, the Realtor, Real Estate, and Contracts Edition. This will take about 15 minutes. You're welcome to speed up your viewing to 1.25 or 1.50x. I'll try to move through it. I want you to know, real estate agents, that hackers are targeting small business. They're going where the money is, and you are where the money is. And 50% of small businesses have been hacked in some way, and 70% are targeted. So the bad actors are going after small business and realtors like you because that's where the money is. And that is the evolution of for-profit hacking. And it is a business around the world, a multi-billion-dollar business. And we're past sending millions of emails out with virus and malware and hoping we catch somebody at home making a mistake so that we can collect $100 or $500 from them. No, we've progressed to the point of phishing, spear phishing. We'll talk about it. And whale fishing, going after the big money, finding the big money. And yes, there are websites out there. You can download the tools and go into business tomorrow going after big money. And this is what they're doing around the world. In third world countries, we're talking about buildings with hundreds of people working like a war room, going after $25, $50, or $100,000, $250,000. That's what's happening today. And how is it happening? 81% are leveraging either stolen or weak passwords or their social attacks. Social attacks. We know of businesses in West Michigan that have lost $100,000 within the last year. Believe me, when a realtor or a business gets hit by an attack and loses $250,000, $100,000, they don't call on live. They don't even tell their friends and neighbors, hey, guess what happened to me? No, these things are kept under wraps and we hear about them. So how are they going after the money? And you know, the worms and the Trojans are still out there, but the big money is in ransomware. Let's lock down the data, like just happened to a major hospital chain recently with 400 locations, their data locked down and being sold for ransom, and spear phishing. So it's ransomware and spear phishing. And so prevention starts with humors. Look, we can apply all the technology in the world, from antivirus to malware protection, spam protection, to firewalls. But it is the humans that are the challenge. Business email compromise is costing over $5 billion a year. And that was years ago. The price is going up. So we're talking about human firewalls. We're talking about human error, human failure. And so you are the key to securing your customers' data, your customers' information. And how is it happening? And this from KnowBe4. And top social media email subjects. And what are the top three? Password check required immediately. A delivery attempt was made. Oh, FedEx, UPS coming, click on it. Yeah, what's the status? Wrong. A deactivation of email is in process. These are the ways they're getting to us. They know we're concerned about security and they're using exactly that against us. So BEC, business email compromise, is a form of phishing. And so it's a fake email that appears to come from a trusted friend or an organization. Your client may be breached. Your vendor, your customer may be breached. That's a problem. You get an email that came directly from them. You trust that email. We have to be vigilant. We have to be paranoid. That's what we're asking you to do, is be vigilant and paranoid. All the technology in the world cannot stop this. A lot of technology in the world can help. We'll talk about that. So they're going to try and trick us. They're going to try and social engineer us. So the anatomy of a phishing email. And here's an example that I received only in the last couple of weeks. Yes, me, I received this email. And it looked pretty real. It came from Microsoft, and it says, high extremity alert has surfaced. You've got 6 emails that didn't get through. Please confirm them. And I actually sent this to our internal security officer and said, this is a training, this is a test, right? No, Mike, that is a real email that came from clearly outside the organization. I can tell from the email address that it did not come from i3. It did not come from inside my company. It did not come from Microsoft. This is an example that's hitting our company, maybe yours right now. So the anatomy of a phishing email, it might come from Gmail, it might come from a recognizable customer or client's vendor. And oftentimes it'll have an attachment, sometimes not. It'll have a link to click and not recognizable. There will be oftentimes spelling and grammar mistakes in it. So we have to scrutinize these things and again, be paranoid of anything we're not looking for. So here's the sequence. You get an email from a customer, maybe they've been hacked. Again, maybe your customer has been hacked, maybe your vendor has been hacked. So we have to be paranoid. And here's a spelling error on SharePoint, but we get that email. And here's another example that I actually got from our bank. And our bank said, here is the package that we sent you. And I thought, holy cow, they're after me again. How many of these am I going to get? But in fact, this was a real one. And I called my banker. He says, Mike, I emailed you, I called you and said this thing's coming. I'm still paranoid. I'm still vigilant. And so the email looks innocent. It is coming from the customer. It's somebody you know because they may have been hacked. And you click on it. And now it throws you into, in this case, OneNote, something many of us are familiar with that Microsoft offers. It may throw you into an email that looks like your title company. And we click again, and now we're into the new project or the new closing that we're involved in. And it looks very familiar. And so I'm pulled through this thing. Now it says, hey, you need to log in with Gmail or Outlook or Office 365. And we go to log in with Office 365. And when we do that, we've handed over our password. This is how spear phishing works. So what the bad actors do is they actually, when they get into your customer's email, your client's email, when they get into the vendor email, they will sit there and they will surveil it. They will wait for a month, and they'll look for the opportunity to send an email and collect information. And that's the problem with these emails is they're very patient. They're waiting so they can go after that $50 or $100,000 or $250,000. So how do we defend against it? Never give out personal or sensitive information based on an email or a text message. We do not click on links in emails. If you're going to go to Chase Bank, your Visa credit card, go to the Chase Bank website. We can hover our mouse over links and see what the link underneath it is. We can, and I say, go to the website to find the phone number. We never dial a phone number from an email. We go to the known phone number in our contact list. We go to the website for Chase Bank and we pull the phone number out of there. And you can always reach out to your organization or i3 and say, what do you think of this? So in the desktop app for Outlook, there's this thing called view headers, and we can see a lot of information about the email, including the actual email address that it came from, in this case, unrecognizable. I'm paranoid about that. So popular hacking methods are social engineering, that's what we're talking about, the spear phishing, and they represent 70 to 90% of attacks. Here's another example. This appears to come from MicrosoftOnline.office.com. I mean, this must be a good one. Wrong, it's missing a letter. I have to be paranoid, I have to be vigilant. Your passwords are for sale on the dark web. If there's been a breach in the last 10 years with your email address in it, it is out there if your password is associated with it. So what are the best practices for passwords? And length equals strength is the mantra. And I suggest using a song lyric or a passphrase of some sort. You can mix uppercase and lowercase letters. and use special characters. It's okay to use a dictionary word, and but do avoid pets and personal references that can be cracked. So let's look at examples of this. I say, here's some good passwords. And this is a long password, but I think you could remember it. Amazing Grace House, Sweet the Sound, 1492. Or the Baker family lives across the street, 2019, I think that is. This is a crazy idea, 5145, I think that is. So does length equal complexity? And this application called PassFault is a way to verify it. And I go to the website PassFault, and if you want to entertain friends and neighbors at a local party, you can use this site. I actually use it in an incognito browser, and I'm not using real passwords that I'm using in real life. But let's look at a 10-character password, totally random. I cannot remember this password because it's a capital B and then a small a and then a number and a symbol and totally random. But a $5,000 hacking computer can hack this password in one day, 10 characters. Turn the computer on, boom, I've hacked your password. But if I use Amazing Grace House, Sweet the Sound, 1492, it'll take over 1 million centuries for a computer to hack that password. The longer the password, the better. Length equals strength. Please use long passwords. More than 16 characters we recommend. So additional best practice, never tell anybody your passwords. Use a different password for each site. Please, please, please. If you're using the same password for your personal email, for Facebook, for LinkedIn, for your business email, unacceptable. You must change them all. And I'll talk about how you can do that. And don't keep your passwords in a spreadsheet on your computer. Talk to a young lady who's keeping their passwords in a text file on their phone. Please don't do that. Use a password manager like LastPass. So LastPass is a password manager like RoboPass that sits in your browser and it is an add-on to the browser. It's 256 encrypted. And you can keep your passwords and your favorites and recently used. I keep virtually everything in here, from social security numbers, Visa numbers, all that right in my password manager. And we can launch Facebook, we can launch different applications from it and have a different password on every one. For a whopping $1 a month, you can personally sync this to your cell phone, and you can have your password manager on your cell phone. I recommend a password manager of some sort. So secondly, multi-factor authentication will protect 99% of all email compromise. I'll explain how. And so please confirm that it's on at the business. And I know that your organization, it is turned on. But if for some reason you were missed or you're new to the organization, please make sure that multi-factor authentication is turned on. And turn it on for everything from your business email to banking, payroll, key applications, your personal email, Facebook, virtually everything you can turn multi-factor on for two-factor authentication, do it. And the example is, I'm going to tell you my ATM 4-digit code right now. It is the code that was given to me over 25 years ago by AT&T for 1-800 calls from, yes, it's true, from a toll phone, from a phone booth back in the old days. And they gave me this 4-digit code. And when I got my first ATM card somewhere around 25 years ago, I thought, I'm going to use the same code. It's easy to remember. I have not changed that code in 25 years. Why doesn't my bank require me to change my 4-digit ATM code on a regular basis? And the answer is because ATM cards are based on what you have and what you know. I have my ATM card in my hand, only I know my 4-digit code. You can steal my ATM card, but if you don't know my 4-digit code, you cannot use it. Now, if you look over my shoulder and you've got my 4-digit code, now you have to steal my card. And if you steal my card, I'm going to call my bank and change my code. So that's two-factor authentication at its finest. And same with your email. your business email, that you have your cell phone, and that is where your second factor of authentication is, in the Authenticator application. So you can, if you're in a third world country, if you're in China, if you're in a war room trying to get into my email so that you can send an email and change an account number, then you have to have your cell phone in order to enter that, in order to log into that account. That's why two factors prevents 99% of attacks. If you don't have two-factor on, and they get the password, they can log in from anywhere in the world, and now the trouble begins. And what happens when they get in there? They sit and they wait, and they wait, and they wait, and they look for that email that's going to move some money around. So two-factor authentication is imperative. Furthermore, we recommend that you use the mobile apps for Office 365 on your cell phone. So you're using the Outlook app, not the Android or the iPhone email app. We're using very secure applications tied to your Office 365 account to protect your email. So for realtors today, we know you have a secure website. That is where we convey any title closing information, any bank information. That's the only way we're going to share that information. We want to confirm any changes via verbal or voice confirmation of any transfers or account changes. We're never sending Social Security numbers, credit card numbers, bank and routing information via email or text messaging. And we're always using multi-factor authentication, preventing 99% of occurrences. So this is the mandate. Make sure multi-factor authentication is turned on. If you've been missed, please ask that it's turned on. We're not using email or texting to send Social Security numbers, bank routing, or passwords. We're never disabling malware and antivirus protection. We're using a password manager to manage our passwords so that we're not writing them down, keeping them in an Excel spreadsheet or texting. We're never using duplicate passwords. Back up your stuff in some way. And in an iPhone and an Android, it's easy to do by syncing to Google or your provider in the cloud. Certainly on your desktop, there's ways to redirect your document folder, your photos, etc., to OneDrive and Office 365 so your stuff is backed up. And then restart your PC and your laptop on a weekly basis at a minimum so that security patches are applied. And that's it. Mike Aritzema with i3 Business Solutions. Technology marches on. The threats march on. It's important that we continue to mitigate the risk. And you are the key to this security. All the technology in the world cannot protect against a major mistake by any of us humans.